The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. I start the show like I usually do, looking at the German DAX and also the FTSE. And as you can see, the FTSE is much, much weaker than the German DAX and is very close to breaking through some major support down here, as you can see, with all of the ABCD patterns that we have there. Also, you can see that the DAX is setting it is setting exactly at the 78% level, holding its own, which is, I think, pretty good. Now, before I get into the S&P and stuff, I do want to share some information that I think it's important. Maybe it isn't, but we'll take a look at it. Tommy O'Brien was talking about the VIX index, trading above 30, which is, stopping to think that our market has actually held up pretty well. But let's go back, folks, to October and November of 2016. You'll see the spike there when the market, when Trump was a surprise winner, and then we, backed off. We went from 25, we went all the way back down to 10. What they're doing now, folks, is people are taking protection here in the VIX at 30. Now, look, when it was down there at 10, I always said, you have to buy protection when it's at 10, but when it's at 30, that's a little bit higher than 10, so you can't really do that. So if I had to make a bet, and I'm not going to do this because I don't trade the VIX very often, I would be looking to fade the other side of that. In other words, I would sell the VIX into the election, and because maybe there's not going to be as much volatility as people thought. There wasn't much volatility back in 2016. If you'll remember, on that night when they thought that Trump had lost Florida, the Dow Jones was down the limit. And then after he won Florida, it started to move up. And every time he would get a state, it would move up another 100 points. By the end of the evening, the Dow was actually up on the day, and it never looked back. It went all the way up to 29,000. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing here. But that's just my 2 cents worth. And believe me, if you pay that, you're overpaying. So let's remind ourselves that just because you have an opinion doesn't mean it's going to be right. So that's pretty much it. I will not have any positions into the election at all, because I think there'll be some great opportunities in the middle of the night and then probably the next day too. So that's what I'll be waiting for. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Now, on some of the things that are happening in the market right now, we have a very, very important number that just got hit here in the gold up here at this 1930 per ounce. That is a completion of a double ABCD pattern. It was also a completion of a major fib point, and it's going to see whether we move any higher from this level, because if we get gold above that 1934 level, it is actually going to be pretty bullish. And if that happens, we could be looking at something that would take it hey, listen, we got 13 days to go. That's going to be 13 days. It's going to seem like 2 lifetimes for some of these traders, because these markets will probably go up and down several times before they decide what's going to happen. And then after it's over, they'll continue doing what they're doing. So no matter what, there's going to be some great opportunities, that's for sure. And I think that's one thing. Now, Mr. Z's been talking about the fact that the South American crops have been pretty nasty here. I wanted to show you this is a chart from our friend Rich Anderson last night, and you can see here that the managed funds are heavily long corn and beans, as they should be, because they've been going up, and we're at levels now where they could easily accelerate. Like Mr. Z was saying, we could go from $10.70 to $12 in soybeans without any trouble at all. That's pretty much how we kind of keep an eye on that. So that's pretty much what we're looking at early this morning, and I want to get to the S&P here because everybody has a has an interest in the old stop and P. So we'll get up here and show you where we are. Here's what we were looking at over the last day or two. These are things that we were watching. If you notice, we hit that 382 retracement, completed the ABCD pattern. That was here yesterday. We rallied up, and you'll see the rally we had yesterday was 3470. That was almost exact 61% retracement from the high on the 16th, and it was an exact 38% retracement from the high on October 11th. That sets up a bearish scenario, folks. And if you'll look at the line, right below it, you're going to see that line that we're looking at is going to be around the 3330 level, and that's a key level to be paying very close attention to, I would believe. And we'll get this up here to take a look at it and bring it forward just a little bit. And we're trading at 34.35 now, so we're 100 handles away from that. But that's where I think we're going to be going. Now, that'll be before the election, most probably. And that's pretty much what you're looking at. David White just posted one of my favorite people, Gerald Loeb. I actually met him many, many years ago. And the quote is really a great one. It says, "Accepting loss is the most important single investment device you can insure your capital." And that is true. That goes back to what Bernard Baruch said in his book, the autobiography, My Own Story. And he said, don't be concerned on the return on your money. Be concerned on the return of your money. And that's the key thing to look at. So since we're talking about that, let's talk just a tiny bit about the Treasury bonds, folks, because they are struggling for their life. We're trading here at around the 173 level. We've broken through the 78% level without any trouble at all. We've actually made a new low on the move down around the 172.10, which was a 1.27 expansion of the last 8 days trading. And below 172.10, you're looking at numbers below the 170 level without any trouble at all. So be very, very careful here, because interest rates could go higher and not lower. And if we look at what's happening, with the U.S. dollar here, the U.S. dollar is starting to be under pressure again. We're back down again, much like we have. We've seen the euro rally up now to the 61% level, exactly up here at this 118.75. I haven't checked it yet this morning, but last night we hit that, and we've been here most of the evening and early this morning up at that level. So that's a key level to be watching here in that euro as we watch it. So that's very, very important. Now, here is another one that this is my 2 cents worth again. And as I said before, if you pay more than that, you overpaid. Let's take a quick look here. This is the GDX, which is the gold miner ETF. And you'll notice a beautiful 135 pattern there. This was sent to us by one of our friends across the pond over there. You'll see the ABCD that occurred, and you see 0.3, just absolute perfect symmetry, folks, from the lows. They're exactly the same cycle. The first retracement is 61% retracement. The second retracement is 61% retracement. And it's also 50% off of the low that we made back here a few days ago. We'll be right back, folks. 877-927-6648.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I want to remind everybody we're going to have Tom Hugard. Trader Tom will be our guest tomorrow, Thursday. Friday will be his mentor and our good friend David Paul, Dr. David Paul, mathematician per excellence. And so we have two great guests coming in here on Thursday and Friday, which are always fun to listen to what they have to say. Couple questions that people have asked here. One was I mentioned about the gold market up here. We hit a high of 1931. If we get above 1935, folks, that's going to be a pretty significant breakout to the upside. Now, silver hasn't quite done it yet, and platinum is far behind, but there's a possibility, that gold could easily do that. So it's something that is necessary to pay very, very close attention to. And also, we have another one that should be on the watch list, but certainly not being able to, if you sell it here, you've got to be able to use a very close stop, and I decided to not do anything. But let's take a look here at the, if you'll take a look at this, this is the natural gas. We have that 3 drive to a bottom pattern. Boy, that's got some great symmetry here, folks. But the problem is, we're trading up in an area where we could easily break out to the upside. The only way that would be safe, to sell that would be to pick a spot on a 15-minute chart and then put your stop up around that 306 level. So you'd have to risk about $300. I'm not recommending that, but it is set up for that situation, and we'll know more about it tomorrow. It'd be easier to let the market back off a little bit and then sell the first retracement that you get. That's what I would look at. But that is a flat-out perfect ABCD pattern. Remember, back here on the 21st of September, we were setting right at the 78% level, and the market moved, around $2,300 that day. And we were on the air when that was happening, as a matter of fact. And, of course, then it gapped up. Now, that gap there is due to the transfer over between the November and the December contract. So it's still doing the same pattern, but the prices are just a little bit different. So that's another one that you want to keep a very, very close eye on. But it's certainly not a what we call a real easy one to trade. By the way, human interest, we have here in Tucson, where we live, right in the foothills of the mountains, of the Catalina Mountains, right behind our house here. They're about 7,500 to 8,500 feet, and a lot of woods up in that area. And we are being invaded, folks, by javelinas, the wild pigs of Arizona. We have a family of 11 adults and 2 baby javelinas are in the neighborhood every morning around 2 to 6, well, actually before 2 to 5, and they're out there scavenging for water. They really need water because we've had such a really bad, roughly drought. We only had 4 monsoon rains this year over that 3-month period, and that was not enough. So they're scavenging for water. But the problem is Sarah has these beautiful plants, and no, you don't know pork chops, Bob. Those things you better eat tire rubber than that stuff, because the diet for javelina is tin cans and twigs. I mean, they eat everything. And oh my God, are they smelly? They make a lot of noise. But anyway, they attacked Sarah's favorite plants last night, and she has cactus, and they go through it. These are flowered cactus, and so those are delicacies because they have a lot of water in them, and so that's it. But everybody in the neighborhood is a little bit worried about it. But then we found out late last night around 7 o'clock that the sheriff came in and said not to bother the javelinas because they were there to vote Democratic. So I guess we'll keep our hands off and we'll see what happens. But that's the way it goes, neither here nor there. Okay, now we're going to switch over to a no, they don't eat. They eat. They're vegans, Duffy. They don't eat other animals or any meat at all. They are vegans. Now the coyotes, they only eat meat. So there's a totally difference. And so they have to. And believe me, the javelina, they feast on the coyotes feast on the javelina, especially the baby ones. And you can hear them yelping sometimes in the middle of the night. They found one, and that's how it goes. To hear those baby coyotes, it's really something. But it's sort of a wilderness, but it's a nice little. JB, those are hogs, my friend. Those are wild pigs, the javelina. Okay. Oh man, well, I'll be glad when this thing is over, if it ever is over, and I'm not even sure that's going to happen. All right, let's go to something that we understand, and that is we got the World Series going, so I got to have a couple of baseball stories, and I think it would be fun to know. When I first moved to California back in 1965, I was a big Dodger fan, living up there and living in Terre Haute, Indiana. And so I had my chance to go to the first World Series in 1965, and I didn't know anything about getting tickets, but one of my friends told me it was easy to get tickets, and so I went down to Dodger Stadium, and it was really exciting because you had Koufax and Drysdale and Mickey Mantle and the whole group, and I got to go to the one of the games for $50. Well, $50 back in 1965 was a lot of money, but the really fun part about it is 1965. In the early part of 1966, I bought the house in Westlake Village, California, before there was water in the lake. Well, later on, about a year later, when we moved in and everything had settled down, we were in the Safeway shopping, and I was here with both one of the girls, the baby, Jill, and she was sitting in the basket. And as I walked down the aisle, I saw Sandy Koufax, the great pitcher for the Dodgers, and he was shopping with his wife, Linda Widmark. She was the daughter of Richard Widmark, and they lived on the other side of Westlake Village at the Widmark estate. And Mr. Widmark lived to be over 100 years old. And anyway, we used to see Sandy in there all the time, and he used to chat with the kids and say hello. And what a pleasant man. I mean, he was just a really quiet, soft-spoken, and he was so small and frail, folks. You would have never believed that he was such a great pitcher. He was actually a good basketball player too. He was from the University of Cincinnati. And anyway, when Tommy John, came to the Dodgers in '75. 74, 75. We got to see more of the players, through the years, but it was really great. And then during that time period when I was hanging out with the coin dealers and stuff, one of the guys who from the ex-Dodgers who used to be played first base for him, Wes Parker, and I became very, very good friends. Bob had been selling gold to Wes's father, Maurice. And I would deliver the Cougarans to him, and I got to be sort of friends with him. And I really, really thought his son was a great player. He's a switch hitter and everything. Just really nice guy. He hit a home run I think on his birthday. He hit a home run on the left side of the plate and a home run on the right side of the plate in one of those years. I don't remember exactly. But it was fun to get to know them. But when Mr. Parker had to have some surgery, he couldn't get in to see the right doctor. And I was with Lily at the time, and the doctor that he wanted to see happened to be one of the people on our research thing. And I made one phone call, and he got his surgery. 877-927-6648. Stay tuned for more baloney, the king of baloney.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, the key level to watch today is the S&P at 3418. We get below that, it's going to start to move down a little bit. I think if you pay attention to the NASDAQ, that's 60 handles away. But if we get below, 11,590, that would tell us we're probably heading to those lower levels. But there doesn't appear, when I'm looking at this, I don't see anything that even appears to look like a crash. I think it's going to be trading. And look at these swings that we're having, folks. I mean, they're just totally amazing. So just to pay attention and look for your good entry points, and you'll see whether that's going to be the right thing or not. That, I don't know whether they're going to work, but nobody else does either. That's the key. Okay, now someone asked me a question that is easy to answer, but I've said it before or told the story before, but the question was, what's the most amazing thing that has ever happened to me in my life? And a lot of things have happened to me that were amazing. I mean, go back, and historically, when I moved to Westlake Village, folks, believe it or not, this was 1966. That long before I knew anything about Fibonacci or patterns or anything like that. But my phone number in Westlake Village was 213, which was the Los Angeles area code, 889, nice little Fibonacci number, 1618. That was my phone number for 17 years. And I mean, I realized it, of course, in 1970 that that's what my phone number was. But by golly, that was really amazing. It happened long before. But by far the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, well, it happened in 1986 after I moved up to Avila Beach to live with John after the divorce, long before I met to work on the book with Dr. Miller, Astro Cycles, A Trader's Viewpoint. And I was doing, I had my licenses at Bateman Eichler, where John owned the 4 offices in the area, and they used my licenses for money management and for management and stuff like that, which was fine with me. And then I was doing expert witnessing, which was my main source of income during 1986 and early 1987, because I wasn't trading during that time. That I was actually, it was Jack LaLanne's wife. I forgot all about that. Her name was Elaine, but her nickname was Lala, and she gave me a gift certificate to visit with a psychic. And so I went out to the Pismo Dunes that day. It was in April. It was a spring day, and believe me, when you're out there in the ocean with that wind blowing, it's not very warm. And I had a jacket on, and so I met this woman. She was about the same. I was 50, and she was 50. I wasn't quite 50 yet, but she was in her 50s. But she had long gray hair, incredibly beautiful skin, and very attractive woman, very big. I mean, she was about 5'11", and extremely physically fit. And so we were sitting on the bench, and she said, why don't I'll put this blanket out here, and we'll sit here on the blanket here on the dunes. And I said, it's going to be kind of chilly over there. And she said, no, she said, we'll be fine. And so she put the blanket out there, and she started chatting with me. And we were sitting there, and all of a sudden I realized that the wind was blowing all the grass, the wheatgrass. It wasn't wheat, but it was the grass from the ocean and stuff. She had a we were just sitting there, and the wind was blowing really hard. You could see the thing. There was no wind, and it was nice and warm. I mean, I asked her, I said, how can this be? And she says, well, I put a little bubble over us. And I said, oh boy, what am I into now? Anyway, for the next hour, she sat with me and started to talk with me. And then she told me, some things that was going to happen to me in my life. She knew everything about me, folks. I mean, she knew everything. She knew that I had one sister. She knew basically I was from the Midwest. She knew my relationships with my parents and all the other stuff. You don't have to cover the very good, Jay Bird. That's pretty good, man. She actually knew everything about me. And then she started to tell me, she said, I feel honored to be here with you. And I said, and I laughed, and I said, why? And she said, oh, you're gonna travel all over the world, and you're gonna meet many, many people, and you're gonna have an incredibly wonderful life. And she said, you're just very, very lucky. And she said, you're going to teach so many people, and you're going to write a lot of books. and you're going to, be on television and stuff like that, and you're going to know a lot of movie stars. Well, I'd met some movie stars when I was at Drexel, so that didn't mean anything. And then she told me a couple things that nobody else knew. I mean, nobody else knew. And I said, how in the world do you know that? And she said, well, like you, she said, I'm in a different realm. And she said, I'm in a realm where these things are available to me. And I just wanted to tell you that what I'm telling you is the truth. And you have to believe it, because this is what's going to happen to you. And she says, you're going to live a very, very long life. And by golly, she was right. Yes, Jay, she gave me the lottery numbers for the next 6 lottery numbers in a row in California. And believe it or not, she didn't get one number out of the last 6. No, she couldn't do any. She wouldn't do anything like that. That's monetary stuff. It wouldn't do. These are things that were, Hey, but that someone asked me the question. That was by far one of the most amazing things that's ever happened to me. I mean, she really knew what was going on. And she knew the illnesses that both of my little daughters had, that when they were small, that almost took their lives, and they got through it. She knew how my mother passed away, how my father passed away. She knew what my sister was doing. She knew my sister was a nurse. There's no way she could have known all this stuff. But, she really knew something. And then I never thought about this. And then a year later, I'm in the midst of, writing this book, and I'm thinking about it. Wow, I'm writing a book. And then one book led to another one. No, she didn't work for the CIA. She lived in a little old type, the old Winnebagos, the little bubble ones that probably in the 50s. She lived in a little tiny, very small, not even one room. And but that's where she lived. And then about a month later, she just basically disappeared and went on to wherever else she was going. But that's what happened. Oh, someone posted here about Jack LaLanne's wife. Yeah, there's Elaine Doyle. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. They were nice people. My goodness, that's bring back a lot of memories. Okay, 877-927-6648. I'll be happy to answer any questions. By the way, don't call in right away, folks, because Al has told me that the line is just loaded up today. There's just nothing but, they're just booked really solid here. But if you keep trying over the next 10 or 15 minutes, you might be able to get in and ask a question, and we'll try to answer it if we can. But we've got to talk just a tiny bit about the bit, because bit is starting to move. We've been talking about Bitcoin for a bit, and guess what? Here it is. You see, we're breaking out of that Gartley that we had down there that actually was a 135 pattern, and away it goes. And, that's what we're happening in gold, too. It's happening a big move. So all of that is very, very important. So we want to keep a close eye on that. Someone's asked me something about guns in Arizona. Guns are legal in Arizona. You can carry a gun. You can actually carry a gun into a restaurant. Some restaurants don't allow it, but people do it anyway. And to carry a concealed weapon, in other words, if it's concealed on your body, in your pocket, or in a shoulder holster, or you need a CWR for that. All right, we'll be right back. 877-927-6648.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Direxion's daily S&P 500 bull and bear leveraged ETFs. Direxion leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direxion shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit direxioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, we're back, folks. And oh my gosh, someone got through on the lines, for heaven's sakes. It is Mr. Wolf Trader himself, Shane Smolian. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Larry. How are you today?
I don't know how you got that lucky to get a call-in number. Were you part of the lottery situation there at TFNN today to get through?
Yeah, I've been calling in since midnight. I was in line and I got through by chance. Yeah.
I knew there were some people who were out there early. What are you looking at today, my friend? Is it about the election or is it about the disease? I think they're both the same thing. So pick a subject.
I can talk election or markets, whatever you want. I'll give some comments on the election. It's interesting. The early votes are coming in. And so that, the strategy of the Democrats is to vote early, get a very large lead ahead of Election Day. And then the Republicans, the strategy is to vote in person and get a voter day surge. And the one thing I want to point out that's interesting is I think, I pointed out some potential issues that I talked about before. But one of the things is last year at this time, Hillary Clinton had a 15-point lead. With 11 days to go, she had a 15-point lead in the polls with 19 million Americans that voted. And all of these projections were saying that she remained on track to win a majority of the votes in the Electoral College, according to Reuters survey, right? So I think what happened is this is a big problem. What happened is that, and someone pointed this out to me when I talked about the Pennsylvania being this big lead, is that you have a lot of defecting Democrats. In other words, registered Democrats voted different ways. There was 200 counties in 1984, since 1984, that had always voted Democrat, registered Democrat, by 20 points in every election. And then in 2016, they flipped and they voted for Trump. And so what we're seeing now is, like, we saw 6 Democrat mayors in swing states of Minnesota endorse Donald Trump. This has just happened in 2020. So I think part of the things that we're seeing here is that just because Democrats registered are voting, we don't really know what that means. We don't know if they're going to actually follow through and vote for Joe Biden. That's the big question right now. I would have expected to see larger leads than we're seeing right now. Pennsylvania does have a very sizable lead. Florida is a pretty good lead, but there's some states where, like, the Republicans are actually outright winning, like Ohio. They're actually winning in the early vote. I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest with you, Larry. I thought that Democrats would have a much larger, at least the registered Democrats would have a larger lead at this point. So I got to say that I probably give that's a slight edge to Trump at this point. It's very early, and we don't really know yet. But I'm kind of shocked by this. I thought the Democrats would be out to a much bigger lead than they are. This is another thing I want to talk about too. And I think this election is going to be about nuances and details, the little things that people don't look at. One of them is the youth vote. There's a big youth vote decline in this election. In Philadelphia, home to Temple, Drexel, UPenn, and LaSalle, the 18 to 29 vote has gone from 23.1% in 2016 to 11.7%. In other words, it's less than half, and I think part of that is that people aren't on campus, and that's a big. I think this could be a big deciding factor too. Is that the Biden campaign abandoned the door-to-door knocking and all of this stuff that goes on, like the ground game, let's just say, and the Trump people continue to do that because of the virus, of course, and that's a legitimate concern. But that youth vote is gone. I mean, it's like half of what it was. So there's all these little things that you got to look at. I think there could be some shifts in minority votes too. I think that the black support for Trump is higher than it was in 2016. So there's all these little things that we got to look at. And I think when you add them all up, it's going to create a very interesting outcome. Obviously, it's too early to tell, but I'm just a little surprised. Even the polls now, the national polls have all come into like in these battleground states have come into like 1 to 3 points, where they were like 10 points just a few days ago, like 10 to 11 points. So the race is definitely narrowing. And so it's just something we got to continue to watch. I mean, the early voting ballots right now, if you just go by parties, the Democrats are up. It's like 51.6 to 38.3 Republican. But in the battleground states, they're a lot closer. It's only like an 8-point lead. And in the Senate race, it's like 3 points. Democrats have a 3-point lead. I thought that would be much larger with the early votes, with the early voting. So anyway, just some comments. I could talk next time about that with like more of a formal presentation. But I'm a little surprised. I thought we would see a stronger Democrat turnout. I really did. I mean, like the turnout that we're seeing in Pennsylvania, I think that's what I would have expected to see in many more states, and we're just not seeing it. I mean, Florida has a pretty good lead. Like I said, Ohio, Trump's actually winning in Ohio, or the Republicans are actually winning in Ohio. I'm shocked by that. I thought that there would be a bigger lead. So anyway, that's just the election update. So, I mean, as the data comes in, we'll see. We have the presidential debate on Thursday. That should be interesting fireworks. They're going to start cutting out people's mics now. So you'll start to see people talking, and then you'll just see lip syncing going on. And so it'll be some kind of good entertainment for sure.
Hey, Shane, we have a question. Do you see anything in any of the charts of the either Democrat or Republican that shows that there's a positive on either side, or a negative on either side?
Yes. I did a whole write-up on this in my Uranian newsletter, and I mean, maybe next week I'll talk a little bit more about that, but I actually plotted out solar cycles, lunar cycles, midpoint structures on the day of the election. And I it's interesting because, one of the big things that's happening right near the election is Jupiter conjunct Pluto. And so Pluto is a ruling sign of Scorpio. That's Joe Biden. So that's a definite big time positive for Joe Biden. But the interesting thing about this is that this conjunction is going to be occurring at 22 degrees, right? So normally I would say Biden for sure, but Trump's sun, moon, all these planets are at 22 degrees of Gemini. So it's almost like that conjunction is affecting both candidates. But I got to tell you, when I see an aspect connecting by an exact degree, Larry, I'm a Uranian astrologer. I look at exact degrees. We don't look at 5-degree orbs, 10-degree orbs. We look for exact degrees. When that conjunction is happening at 22 degrees and it's hitting his sun, his moon, and all of these aspects of Trump's chart, I got to tell you, man, I think that's pretty strong for Trump. And then and Biden too, like the fact that it's going to Pluto, and this is on the 12th. So, I'll talk about this. I talk about this in the newsletter, but if this does extend out, I think by the 12th, Joe Biden's luck will peak on the 12th. So if they're still counting on the 12th, that's kind of a peak date. But I'll get to all that later. There are midpoint structures there in the chart for each candidate on the actual day of the election. And I look at all the midpoint structures, And again, Larry, these things have to be within 1 degree or it doesn't work for Uranian astrology. So this is the big, the big difference between Uranian astrologers and regular astrologers. We look at midpoint structures. We look at exact points. And that's fascinating to me, how we have this Jupiter-Pluto-Saturn conjunction, which is this 4,000-year aspect, which is like this is a dynasty aspect. I mean, this is when the Babylonians started the empire and astrology started. And it's hitting both candidates' charts near the election. I just find that to be fascinating. And this is probably one of the most interesting astrological times I've ever seen. I mean, I look at these charts and you just see these patterns showing up everywhere on the charts. So, I did look again. Trump had another big rally in Erie. I mean, I see all of this enthusiasm, all of these people going for Trump. So I don't know. I mean, it's just so interesting to me how you see these dichotomies. But I think that I said this from the beginning. I think this is a close race. I never thought it was a 10-point lead for Biden, and we're starting to see this in the polls now. Like, this is getting close. So I will say that Biden's chart is better than Hillary's was. Hillary's chart was getting worse into the election, and this is why I called this for Trump last time, because he has this surging aspect that was positive into the elections. But this is different this year. This is definitely different, but I'll continue to track this, but I give very detailed layouts in the Uranian newsletter. I focus mainly on the astrology and the Monday. I don't do Monday too much, but I did it in the last election. But this one, I see so many patterns showing up, and there is a very specific solar cycle that's favoring one candidate, and there's the 2 lunar cycles are favoring another candidate. So as we get closer, I'm going to continue to send out more reports there, so you guys can check that out. And if you want to check it out, guys, the rates are going up November 1st across the board on all newsletters, all services. So if you sign up now, you can lock in the rate. The rates right now, it's very low in these newsletters. It's $39. It's not going to stay at that level. So if you want to sign up and get a lifetime rate, now's the time to do it. So I'm trying to get the word out to everybody about this. So anyway, that's it for the astrology right now. S&P, just so everybody knows, the Fed juice has been in a sell, along with the dollar juice went into a sell. So I have us in a period of no advantage right now, where we are just kind of flopping around sideways. And but from what I can see on the charts, it appears. Oh.
Get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs.
Hey, thanks for being on, Chief.
Thanks. How was it?
Yes, good. I love it. Yeah, hell, it keeps me from talking. I feel great. No, it was good. I enjoyed it very much.
I can talk more if you want. I mean, or is the show over?
No. I can cover the last 2 minutes.
Okay.
I can bullshit my way through that. I hope that didn't go through. Listen, I'll talk to you later, buddy. Thanks for joining.
I'll have more stuff if you want it later. I mean, I can.
Yeah. Well, next week we want to have you on. Maybe we'll do Thursday or Friday next week.
All right. Thanks, Larry. Thanks.
Okay,
again.
buddy.
Appreciate it.
See you later. Thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The opening call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the opening call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we have a call from Philadelphia. 2 people get in one day. Boy, another lottery ticket winner. Jeff, how are you doing?
Hi, Larry. How are you?
I'm very good. What can we help you with, my friend?
I know we don't have much time, so I'll get right to it. I have a voice in my head telling me to not take any swing trades until after the election because of the headline risk, like anything's liable to happen and you might be able to get a big swing without any bids on the other side. So I'm thinking only take very short-term scalps, and I wanted to get your your opinion on, whether it's what you think about taking maybe like an overnight type of trade between now and the election.
Yeah. No. You can do all you want until November the 2nd, the day before the election. But don't that election night. I mean, if it's anything like it was the last time, we're talking about, you had swings in the S&P and the Dow that was just unbelievable, and gold too. Gold was up $30 or $40. So no, I wouldn't do anything. But you can certainly do any scalping you want, and even on election night, you're going to see some nice patterns and scalping and stuff because, you'll see some big moves because people. They'll have their opinion and they'll want to put it in for money. But I would go to a 15-minute chart on election night. That's what I plan on looking at. And I plan on being here, watching the swings and reporting them, for the 24/7 people to give them an idea. But we should have good moves in the currencies, and we should have good moves in gold, treasury bonds, and, of course, the stock indices. But, it could go either way. But, look at that VIX index. Here we got the market up and the VIX is up. That doesn't happen very often. So people are taking protection. And just like in 2016, I don't think the protection is going to make any difference, actually. But that's my 2 cents worth, Jeff. But only do scalp trades up until, election night. Watch a 15-minute chart. You can trade off of that because these markets are very active. And, you don't have to worry about bids and asks being run and stuff like that. So, but you got to be really careful for sure, because these things could, anything can happen, and it usually does. So you just got to be super careful.
It sounds like the voice in my head might have been your voice.
Hey, thank you, my friend. God bless.
All right, you.